Welcome to the Wisdom That Breathes channel. Across all our platforms, we try to share wisdom which is relevant and accessible to everyone. But on this particular platform, we go deeper into some of the ancient principles found within the scriptures. If you find some of the terminology difficult or inaccessible, then go over to our Keshava Swami YouTube channel where you'll be able to find other content which is perhaps more relatable. Thank you and enjoy the wisdom that breathes.
Would you like me to kick off the questions? Maharaj, you said you spent some time with Kanavakana Maharaj before he could leave. What was the one instruction that he gave you that you hold on to?
I'll start with the easy ones.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Are you going to save me from that question?
Maharaj, it said, what is the use of marriage without children? What is the use of wealth without charity? And what is the use of knowledge without humility? So Maharaj, when we have great speakers and they have a lot of knowledge and they give nice classes. But if somebody shows you love and kindness, we remember that more than the knowledge that was spoken. So how do we still remain humble, although we have all this knowledge and not get puffed up?
Okay. Well, it's interesting you should ask that question because it relates also to Sri Govinda's question. Of course, in his final days, Kadambakana Maharaj gave many, many instructions, but one general instruction that he gave repeatedly was to be kind. To be kind to others. And I think about that every single day. Because as you mentioned, the Krishna consciousness movement moves by kindness. It's maintained by kindness, and it will expand by kindness. It was Srila Prabhupada's kindness that conquered all of these young people's hearts who gave their lives to him. It was the kindness of our spiritual teachers who took so much interest in us that has conquered our hearts. And as we preach to others, they say people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So without kindness, without love, without really touching people's hearts, you can't really share Krishna consciousness with others. So yes, our movement needs a lot of heart. Yes, there can be austerity. Yes, there can be knowledge. Yes, there can be great discipline. Yes, there must be intensity. And underneath it all, there must be kindness and love. When we see each other, we should smile. We should greet each other. When someone's having difficulty, we should feel the responsibility to get involved and help. When we see that someone is successful, we should be happy for them and we should encourage them further. When we see that someone new comes to the temple, then we should go and we should go out of our way to make them feel comfortable. If there's someone that we have a disagreement with, we shouldn't just avoid them for the rest of eternity, but we should try to patch it up. If someone does something wrong to us, we should try to find it in our heart to forgive. And all of this can only happen in a heart of kindness. So as time goes by, we realize the Krishna consciousness movement requires a lot of kindness, a lot of soft-heartedness. And nowadays, I agree with you. As I go around the world, in whatever small way I can, insignificant as I am, trying to share Krishna consciousness, I realize what we're really just trying to do is touch people's hearts. Bhaktitirtha Maharaj, he said the goal of a devotee is to touch as many hearts as possible. So yes, thank you for reminding us of this, that we must be kind, we must be soft-hearted, and we must touch people's hearts.
Maharaj, I got one story of kindness that Kadamba Kana Maharaj showed me. I was banned 5 times from the temple because of fighting.
And
Hopefully the story gets better from here.
And one time Kadamba Kana Maharaj, he punched me on my hand and he said, Kula, you are stupid. You do things you do things without thinking. But I am the one that is protecting and defending you behind closed doors. His Holiness Kadamba Kana Swami Maharaj.
Thank you so much.
Any further questions?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, while I was coming to temple, I just had a thought, and when I put this forward to you, I was thinking, about we went through COVID and things like that. Do these so-called viruses, the germs, do they have a soul?
Oh, okay. Srila Prabhupada explains in his books that anything that's living, anything that shows signs of birth, growth, stays for some time, reproduces, produces some byproducts, and then eventually dwindles and dies, this must be the sign that there is a soul, there is some consciousness. So anything, whether it be bacteria, whether it be whatever it may be, a single cell living organism, anything that shows these 6 signs, it's born, it grows, it stays for some time, it produces some byproducts, it reproduces itself, dwindles, and then eventually dies. It can only be possible if there is a soul. So anything that's living. There's no life. Life comes from life. Therefore, where there's these symptoms, there must be life. It's okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
This is such a fantastic opportunity to be able to see you live in person after seeing you on Instagram for so long. So thank you for blessing us with your presence. It truly is so merciful of you to do that for us, and we appreciate you here. My question is about the intensifying of devotional service that you spoke about just now. So how does the intention to want to do devotional service stack up against somebody who is involved in devotional service practically every day of their lives? And the reason behind the intention rather than the actual doing of the devotional service is that there's practical difficulties or challenges that prevent you from doing that devotional service, no matter how much your heart desires. So of course, lots of people will probably know I'm speaking from a personal point of view. And I want to do so much more, but I have lots of challenges that prevent me from doing that. How does my desire stack up then against somebody who's doing it all the time? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So they say where there's a will, there's a way. They also say where there's a will, there's a relative. But in this context, where there's a will, there's a way. When someone has seva bhav, when one has the attitude of wanting to serve, if it's genuine, if it's deep, and if it's consuming one's consciousness, then service will follow. Because where there's a will, there's a way. We're expert. We know how to get what we want once we put our mind to it. And it's the same thing with Krishna service. And so yes, the intention is the most important. And that desire, like I told you, the example of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, he said when one's desire to serve is so great that they go beyond their capacity, but they continue on without hesitation because their bhav is overflowing. He says at that moment, empowerment occurs because Krishna comes in and Krishna says. So when someone says to me, I don't have time, my point to them is that if you look at your life and if you can go to bed at night and say, I didn't waste any time, then two things will happen. The first thing is Krishna will start empowering you to do whatever you need to do in life double as quick, and then you'll have time. And number two, Krishna will start coming into your life and start taking certain things away from your responsibilities, and he'll open up time. Where time is utilized, time expands. So therefore, we had one wonderful devotee at the manor, her name was Mother Kalangana. For 40 years, I talked today about taking responsibility for some part of Prabhupada's movement. And you know what responsibility she took? She said, I'm going to take the responsibility that Krishna should have the best sweets every morning. For 40 years, she made the best Mangalarti sweets. I can say that, I'm from the manor. I'm biased. And she would hand paint every single sweet. Okay? For 40 years. She used to walk around with an apron and it said, Krishna's little helper. And she left, she was leaving the world. I went to see her. And she said, I'm not scared. I said, you're not scared? She said, I'm not scared. Because despite all of my disqualifications, I can look at Srila Prabhupada and tell Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, I didn't waste time. And she said, because I can look Srila Prabhupada in the eyes and say, Prabhupada, I didn't waste time, I know Srila Prabhupada will come and help me. So imagine at the end of our life, we can look at Krishna and say, Krishna, I'm not a time waster. That would be a glorious life. And when you utilize your time, time will expand. So yes, definitely Krishna sees the intention. There's a beautiful verse. Murkho vadati vishnaya, dhiro vadati vishnave, ubayor tu samam punyam, bhavagrahi janardana. Murkho vadati vishnaya. If one doesn't know Sanskrit, they will say Vishnaya, Dhiro vadati Vishnave. If one knows Sanskrit, they will understand it's not Vishnaya, it's Vishnave. But what does this verse say? Ubayor tu samam punyam. They get the same benefit. Bhava grahi janardana, because Krishna doesn't look at the externals, he looks at the heart with which you do something. But if we just want to serve everyone in the heart, but it's not sincere, someone, Mataji, can you pick me up from the station? Yes, I'll do it in my heart. Lenasia seva. Then we can't also, we have to be also honest. We have to also respond when Krishna is there. So, yes, may we utilize our time. May we, every night when I go to sleep, here you go, habits of the monks. Every night when I go to sleep, before I fall asleep, what I do is I rewind to the beginning of the day. And then I go hour by hour and see how I utilize my time. And on those days, many days, I'm getting better, still a bit spaced out. I can look at Krishna and say, Krishna, you see, I couldn't have done more today. I'll try to do better tomorrow, but I did my best today. Do that exercise. It will be very nice. Because this, Srila Prabhupada said, avyartha kalatvam. Cannot stand to waste a moment of time. Hare Krishna.
So we'll take 2 more questions since we opened ourselves.
Yes, I think here there's a question. Oh, Mataji.
Hi, Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I actually have 2 questions. As much as it's important to preach to others, bring them to Krishna, I also feel it's important that we preach to those that have left the movement or are struggling in the path. So how do we inspire the devotees that have lost faith in the movement or have lost faith in Krishna? And my second question is, spiritual narcissism, is it a thing, and how do you understand that?
Yes, many people, once they said to Jayadvaita Maharaj, we should write a book about how all the devotees came to Krishna consciousness. That would be amazing, miraculous. He said, yes, that would be miraculous. But maybe we should write a book about how devotees stayed in the Krishna consciousness movement. It's also very miraculous. Prabhupada did once say that, don't be surprised who leaves. He said, be surprised who stays. However, anyone who comes, even if they seemingly leave, nobody leaves. Nobody leaves. Joining Krishna consciousness is like joining the mafia. You can't leave because you know too much. Too much information. You can't leave. Kadamba Maharaj used to tell a story about someone who left. I don't believe in Krishna, I don't believe in Krishna. And then he ended up writing a book about a blue boy. I was like, wow, seems as though he got into your head. So anyone who comes to the movement is special. Once there was a devotee in the early days who left the movement, and of all things he became a butcher. So Jayananda Prabhu, he decided to go and meet him. So Jayananda Prabhu rocks up to this butcher's shop. So he says, I'm looking for so-and-so. Because he's in the back. The front of the butcher shop is already horrific enough. And then to go to the back, it's like really the lower planetary systems. So Jayananda went into the back, and then he saw this devotee with a knife in front of a carcass, full with blood. And you know what Jayananda Prabhu did? He just went up to him and he hugged him and he said, great to see you, I haven't seen you for so long, how are you doing? And this devotee thought, oh my. And Jayananda Prabhu didn't say anything. How are you? What are you doing here? This is like terrible. Like Jayananda Prabhu said, everyone's missing you. Everyone's asking, where are you? It's not the same without you. How's things going? Where are you living? What are you doing? You're looking really great. And this person said, just the fact that he didn't judge me. He said, I had to come back. They say we are lawyers when it comes to our own mistakes, but we're judges when it's other people's mistakes. So we should never judge. Anyone who comes to the Krishna consciousness movement is special. Krishna already says that. Manushanam sahasreshu kashkit yadati siddhaye. Very rare. So I think you're definitely right. We should always keep in contact with those devotees. We should always send people messages. We should never forget the service that anyone has done. Krishna never forgets. Krishna is always remembering any small service that someone has done. And yes, you see, people don't leave a movement. People don't leave a philosophy. People don't leave a temple. People leave people. And people will come back because of people. It makes no sense. Why would someone leave because of the philosophy? It just makes no sense. There's no other answers out there. It doesn't make sense. Why would you leave a nice atmosphere, beautiful, where you're provided? There's no reason to leave. But people don't leave any of these things. People leave people. Either they didn't connect, or they didn't find the like-mindedness, they didn't find the love. So we have to reach out. That will be a very beautiful service. So yes, thank you for reminding us that we shouldn't just look for new customers. We should visit the old ones. Thank you very much. There's one last question. Yeah. Oh, is that it? We're done?
That's it.
That's it?
Our first question will be asked later.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Hare Krishna.